Hello, everybody! It's live stream time, and I have invited my client Brenda, or I'm going to invite her right now, to jump on. I'm going to talk to Brenda, which has had an amazing leap, which is $52,000 in sale and $18,000 cash in 6 days, and it's actually $20,000 cash in the whole of February. I'm gonna add you. Okay, let me. Hello.
Hello.
Woohoo! Perfect. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. And you?
Yeah, I'm talking to you, so I'm very cool.
Good.
All right, I'm just gonna do the introduction again, before we actually start. Everybody that's watching this and we're watching the replay, I'm having Brenda, my client from London. You're from London, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not just Britain. Which is an amazing leap, which is amazing, which is $52,000 in sales and $18,000 cash in 6 days. To $26,000 sale and $20,000 cash, and she's not done yet for the month, but that's how it is right now. And she had her first multiple, million per year kind of client, and this is the amazing thing, we did one live event in Los Angeles, and we had one 90-minute group coaching call. All right. Brenda, I'm going to say it a little bit first, but I want everybody to let you tell everybody as well where you were before you came to Los Angeles and decided to go to the event, which is a part of my mastermind, which Brenda is a part of, everybody. You made around $5,000 cash every month. Is that accurate?
Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that. And was not fun.
Well, no, I mean, I loved what I was doing. Obviously, I love being a publicist and all the rest of it, but I've got dreams and I've got plans and I want to do stuff, and I also want to serve at a higher level. There was also some business things that I really wanted to invest in to up level the service that I could provide, and at that stage I wasn't able to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I know, and I remember, and I also think everybody should know that you were making, $5,000 every month, as I said, but she also had a lot of objections. Like, people were coming to you or to Brenda, like flus or flies or whatever you say. Like, there's a lot of attraction. There's a lot of people coming, right? But there were so many objections. Like, I can't pay. Who's gonna pay $10,000 for PR or $3,000 for PR? Or I can't because my back, like, there was like so many objections, and especially the thing of like, oh, I'm going to go to another publicist, or I'm going to go to another coach, like another business coach.
Yeah.
I can't invest in this right now. So how about all of that for you, having all those objections on the call?
Well, it was irritating, obviously, but in speaking to you, and especially in doing the whole LA thing, I realized that that was part of my boundary building. So some people weren't even getting through the door. So we weren't even getting on a call before, it was just they'd fill in the form. And then I would know from them that they weren't the person that I wanted to work with, or that, I wasn't right for them and they weren't right for me. And so that made things a lot easier. So although I think I had something like 12 leads in January or something, it was something crazy like that. And yeah, so, it just goes to show that while not everybody was going through, the right people are the ones that will come through.
I know. But can you tell everybody a little bit more how you were feeling before you got to LA? Because you didn't really know how everything was going to work out, blah, blah, blah. So how were you feeling right before you went?
Oh, right. Okay. Well, I was already feeling quite good because I'd made the decision to go to LA, which was huge for me, because prior to that, I was always worried about what would happen with family, with the kids. Could I do this? Could I even afford it? I mean, when I decided I was jumping on the plane to LA, I couldn't even afford to go to LA. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make this happen. And I remember sending you the email saying, and you said, you have to let me know by this date or else. And I'm like, right. So I just sent you an email and I was like, Charlotte, I'm coming. I don't know how, but I'm coming. So just include me in the list, which you did. And then somehow, and like you said, you always say that action, once you actually commit to something and you make an action, then things start lining up to make things happen for you. And it was just crazy how that happened. But with regards to where I was personally, I felt I felt like I was really good at what I'd done. I'd got some really good breakthroughs for clients and some really good coverage and stuff, but I didn't feel like I was in the place that I needed to be doing what I do. And also, like I said, if you're not in a place where you can afford the tools or whatever it is to do what you need to do at the highest level for your clients, then you don't feel like you're doing a great job. I mean, I know other people in my industry who say that they can't afford like some of the basic tools to do their job, and I'm like, well, how do you even do like a decent job? And I didn't want to be that person. I wanted to work with the best clients at the best level and get them the best coverage, and in order to do that, I needed to up level myself. So it was just a, yeah. And but I was in a place of frustration, obviously, because I didn't know how to do that.
I know. So can you tell everybody, what did you try before you started working with me to change, to
Right.
have
So,
a month,
oh
a
God.
week,
Right.
or
What did I know. What did I do? So prior to you, I have had a couple of coaches before. You know, when I was starting out, and every coach has obviously had their benefits and perks. But with working with you, I think the most amazing thing, two of the most amazing things that have happened in working with you is number one, actually understanding what my genius is. Like that was the hugest thing. Like nobody out there is doing that. Nobody is sitting with somebody in a room and like hothousing them and saying, we're going to go through exactly what it is that makes you amazing. And I'm able to do that. I've always been able innately to do that with my clients, but of course you can't see the back of your own hair, so it was very difficult for me to say, right, this is exactly what I provide, even though I knew I was providing something great and could provide even more, but I just didn't know how to tap into that or even how to verbalize it. So that really helped in coming to LA. And then the other thing that so really honing in on my genius. And then obviously the other thing is confidence. It's like a massive confidence boost it requires in order to stand by your pricing, to stand by what it is that you want to do and the up leveling, and actually be able to, because in your head everyone can intellectualize, oh, you know, X costs this amount, so therefore I should be charging X amount, but actually charging people at that level is something completely different. And also there's that old thing in the back of your head that most of us have, oh, people can't afford it, but no one's going to pay me, who's going to pay me this, like there's nobody out there, where are the clients, where are these people who are going to pay, you know,
yeah,
3K a month to do it? I don't find them, where are they, you know? It's all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
yeah. And this is so fun, because can you tell everybody what we do in LA when it comes to finding the clients that can actually pay? And yeah, what we did. How was that for you?
That was the most amazing thing. So alongside finding out my spiritual genius, the secondary bit of actually looking into ideal clients. So we all came to you with ideal clients that we would like to, the kind of people we thought we would never get in a million years, because they were earning far more than we were. They were they were flying off anyway, but you know, we could see like there was a little chink in the armor where we could go in and help. And you actually went through a process for every single person that was in the room of going through their ideal client and actually picking to the minutiae of what it was that they would require, where they were in their business, how they were feeling emotionally, what it was that they wanted, what it was that they were going to buy into, what they wouldn't buy into. I mean, like I've never seen anything like it. Like no one else I know does that process. It was just awesome.
And how did that change your belief in that you can sell to these amazing clients?
Um, well, it changed my belief dramatically. That actually know, because that's the biggest part, isn't it? Actually knowing, everyone always talks about ideal clients and how to target your ideal clients. And often we do things like avatars and stuff, which I've never been a big fan of. I'm more a fan of a muse, you know, like, so having an idea of someone in your head, but actually picking one person. What you find is when you pick one person to focus on, your marketing becomes so much more powerful, because you are speaking literally to one person, and somehow, even if that person doesn't pick up on the post that you put out or whatever, you know, they're gonna come back and they're gonna find you. It was just insane.
I know, it's so amazing. And someone is commenting, she knows how to house you to your sono genius. Yes, exactly, very good. And I'm just going
Yeah.
to talk about the spiritual client readings for a moment right now to everybody that's watching it, because the problem is that when people are doing client readings, what they're doing, or what you're not supposed to do, is to just feel into who you believe your client is, because I didn't do that with anybody of you. because you deserve a better client than you think you can have. Okay, and anybody that does readings on you are going to pick up what's in your subconscious, what's in your conscious mind, not what you really deserve, what's in your subconscious, which means that your ideal client from the client readings would always be limited. Here's an example. Way back, I don't know if you know this, Brenda, but way back in 2016, I was like doing like I was receiving client readings and soulmate clients from a mentor. And here's a guy example. It's the same with soul clients and soul, mates, or who we're meant to be with, if you like. She was describing this man. He was like my age. He was like whatever, all the details. He was Scandinavian and whatever, which was fine, which was all good. But when I look back, that was the only kind of person I could comprehend that I could receive. And in retrospect, when I think about it, I was like, but why is not my soulmate a billionaire? That's super emotionally available and allows me to sleep with 10 people if I want to. Why is that not my soulmate? And in that moment, I realized that what every single fucking intuitive does is that they read the client's conscious mind, which is going to be limited, which is why I changed that. So for Brenda and for everybody I did in LA, what I do for the clients is picking the people they have no clue how to get, like meeting who is the next level client and going directly, because I know how to get them, going directly into their mind, so that Brenda, for instance, or anybody that's watching, you say the right things, you understand them, and you know how to deliver to them. You know that you can actually get one, right? And I think that was one of the biggest shifts, and one of the biggest shifts that intuitive needs to understand, that you cannot change, and you cannot know a soul client with a fucking consciousness, like the mind. You have to go beyond it. So you have to work with someone who has a higher consciousness. And I think, because that's really worked out, Brenda, and knowing, how was it to sign your first, multi-million per year kind of client? How was that for you?
That was an amazing feeling. Why wouldn't it be? It was, and it was easy as well. This is the thing. I've heard people say before, it's much easier to sell a 2K package than it is to sell a $200 package. It's so true. And I think the thing that I found is that when you're dealing with people of that level, as well as having high expectations, they also are very quick to make decisions. So they don't they generally don't tend to keep you waiting for a long time to make a decision as to whether they're going to work with you or not, because they trust themselves to make a decision and to invest. And if you've said the right things, and obviously you've got to back it with being able to deliver that, then there's no problem and there's no reason why you can't get that sort of client.
I know. But that was a big mindset shift for you, though. Because before that, you were like having a lot of people, but we're all broke people. There's so many broke people that's like making money. You know what I mean? But all the money is going out. And you knew that. We were making the money, but it went to the bills, and it went, like, there was no money left to either invest or, if they had to do that, they'd have to take more credit again, or like have fun. Do something that isn't, do your hair, or like actually have a life. That's very, very rare. So what would you say about the biggest impact for you when we were in LA?
Oh, well, I think just leaving LA. Well, actually, I think on the plane to LA, I had a bit of a moment where I got really emotional knowing that LA was going to change my life. I didn't know how or why or what was going to happen, but I remember, I think I was watching Wonder Woman at the time and feeling really emotional. It was like, oh, everything is aligned, and things are going to really shift for me, and it's really going to up level in 2018. And so just being there around these just being there around other spiritual women was like crazy. Just people sitting there reading each other and being able to, just looking into someone's eyes, work out where that other person was coming from and what was going on. That was deeply profound for me. Like, I've never known anything like that. I think if you'd have told me 2 years ago it was possible for a person to sit down next to somebody else and read them, I would have said that's nonsense. But it's possible, and I saw that happen in LA, which was like, wow. So it was a really, really deep experience. And also going deeper into the subconscious, because like you said, there's a lot that we're aware of on our conscious level, but with regards to my subconscious, I wasn't aware of the fact that I still had hang-ups about being a Black woman in business. I wasn't aware of that, and that was something that you tapped into there, and then I ended up crying, and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is a thing for me. I thought I'd gone past this, and I've always I've always described myself as someone who doesn't really go around with a chip on their shoulder per se, you know, so I'm like, everyone's the same, and as long as you're respected, that's fine. As long as you're good at what you do, it doesn't matter. And I believe that on a conscious level, but I didn't believe that on a subconscious level. And I realized all of the programs that were playing from my childhood, that all of those programs that told me I wasn't good enough, that I couldn't deliver at a certain level, that I wasn't smart enough, whatever. I realized that all of those programs were playing, and then, you know, in the time that we spent with you over those very long 2 days, you know, I got to the bottom. They were, well, you said they were 10 till 5. They went on, you know, they went on longer than that, but it was worth it, you know, as we were going with the flow. So yeah, I realized, so that was massive. That was groundbreaking for me to be able to like really tap into that and into my subconscious and be able to understand why I was behaving in certain ways and why I wasn't getting certain results and why I was attracting certain things. So it was awesome.
Yes, exactly. Because the thing about it is that the truth of the matter is that we don't really have blocks. So the only thing that I'm doing with people is, first of all, teaching them you don't have a money block and a guy block and all these kinds of blocks. That you have a role you are playing, which were given to you from someone else. And in Brenda's case, it was like, Black women or just Black people are not worthy of anything. That's literally the message and the idea that's running around in her head. But it's not her. It's not her soul. It's not her. So she doesn't have to go into that one and like try to change it or whatever. What she needed and what we actually did as well is for her to understand exactly how she needs to behave as the opposite or as who she truly is, which is a badass, which is rich, which is who she being proud of being Black. You know, how did that look like? And I think that goes very well into what you did when you got back home. Because I know you were very uncomfortable, and I know you were afraid of like demanding the money and being a bitch, and you know, let's just getting money on the phone. And so, how was all that for you? I know you were very uncomfortable with that.
It was very uncomfortable because it wasn't something that I'd done before. But you know, I found myself in a situation where I knew I had to, because you'd asked me while we were away, do you want to upgrade the mastermind? And I was like, yeah, well, without even thinking, it was like, well, duh, of course, you know, one-on-one time to actually work through things. Of course, it's a complete no-brainer. Now, this was already a pretty pricey mastermind to start off with anyway. So to actually add more to it, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's not cheap. It's not cheap working with Charlotte, but worth every penny. And then I was like, well, how am I going to make this happen? Because, you know, obviously at this stage, I'm earning a certain level, which is comfortable, but not enough to do the investing. So I actually got to a stage now where, you know, I have no shame in admitting that I was like taking jewelry to go and to go and sell it or pawn, well, old jewelry, and to go and pawn it or sell it in order that I can raise the funds that I need to be where I am. Because, and this is why one of the biggest things you said when we were away in LA was, I'm not afraid of my broke, so why, you know, or my zero, so why am I going to be afraid of someone else's? And I'm like, that is like the biggest thing ever. Of course, you know, we're always kind of taught, oh, it's cruel to say to people, you know, to push people, and not that it is about pushing people into doing something, because when you find your soul clients, you don't have to push them into wanting to work with you, but it's cruel to actually help people get past themselves in their head and what's stopping them from going to the next level, because you want to, you know, because you're not afraid of them being at zero, because you're not afraid of them having no money in their bank account. I've been at zero like so many times in business, and every time I'm not going to use that as an excuse not to invest in something that I want. So I'm no longer going to accept that excuse as something from clients. So, you know, if someone comes to me and says, oh, sorry, I can't afford it, then it's like, you're not my client, end of. And I'm not scared. Whereas previously I'd be like, oh my God, you know, maybe I should reduce my prices, or, you know, I'm really worried about things. Well, I'm like, no, this is my standard now. This is my level. I know what I can deliver at. I know what someone's going to get with working at me. And so if you need to, you know, I can sell jewelry, or I can be at zero to get what I want, and to be the best publicist that I am, you know, that I can be. So I'm not going to take your zero as a reason for me not to, you know, maintain those standards. So learning standards and boundaries were massive for me, you know, putting those boundaries into place to say, you know, you've got to, when you make a commitment to something. So I made a commitment to you, and even though I wasn't sure how I was going to get the money to you, I did that because I made it happen, because I'd made that commitment. And that is the kind of level of integrity that I've noticed, not very many people have. And what you find is that when you behave in a certain way towards your mentors and towards people you're paying, you'll find that your clients will start behaving the same way to you. So people who are saying, oh my God, I can't get clients who this, or my clients don't pay me, and all of this sort of stuff, if you've got to have the integrity to be making those payments and investing at a higher level, how can I invest at a higher level and ask someone to invest in me when I'm not doing that for myself? It doesn't make any sense. So you've got to have the level of integrity you have to start demonstrating, and it's very uncomfortable. I'm not saying I'm perfect by any means, but it's but it's very, very uncomfortable, because you've got to break all of these barriers and all of these limitations you've imposed on yourself. You can't do this, you can't afford that, it's ridiculous to spend this money on that, and all of those kind of things, and just be like, no, this is what I want, and this is how I'm going to go forward and get it. And if I've committed to something, I'm going to follow through. End of.
And exactly. And everybody listen to this. That attitude comes from a successful mind. If you have that attitude, you will make as much money and be as happy as you will like until you're dead. Okay? Because since you committed to something even higher, when you were crapping your pants and you were like, okay, and she was like, Charlotte, here's the payment. Shaking. She was okay with demanding money from other people, and the first 9,000 pounds, and then the 3,000 pounds, and now more money is coming in, and now she definitely don't have a problem paying me. And you have to tell everybody that you're setting aside money to buy your house for the first time in life.
Yes. Yeah, I did put something, I put a post up, didn't I, in the early January, saying, I had an okay year last year, but this year I want to be able to buy my house and put my family in a home, which would be amazing, because I've had all sorts of upsets about trying to buy a house. But it's really, thank you, Charlene. Thanks for the love. But I really want to make it happen this year, and I've promised it on Facebook, and I've promised my partner. I'm like, I am going to do what I need to do to make sure we get this house this year. So now I'm actually, but before that, money was in, money was out. I was literally just covering expenses. By the time you've looked at what was, covering living expenses, general day-to-day, and professional expenses, obviously it was done. And I had no room to expand. I couldn't grow my business. I couldn't live in the greatness that I know that I want to be in. I want a world known agency, and that can't happen while you're playing small. You can't do that on a small level at all. So
it's fantastic, because this is not only about making money, it's about building the life you were meant to have, and changing house, and not, you're making money not just for your business, but for yourself, for you to be happy, for you to be fulfilled, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's so amazing, because that's where you're coming right now. And everybody, Brenda has set herself up right now for at least $17,000 and $20,000 cash month every month, because she delivers. And this is the whole idea behind what I do. She delivers, and she has integrity like a steel person, or like, what I mean by that, a lot. Her clients keep investing in her, or the recurring payments comes every month. A, because she's very good at what she's doing. That's why we do the whole genius thing. B, she believes she deserves it. Usually the reason why people don't have recurring payments at that high level is that they don't believe they deserve it. So they have to attract all kinds of drama into their lives, And you know that, Brenda, when you were like, you got some money and then the money just went away into something weird happening. It's because we don't really believe it. We deserve to just have a peaceful, money coming in every month. And she is delivering. Clients want to keep investing and getting higher and higher, and that's how you create these. This is literally $20,000 with 4 clients actually, or 5, 4 to 5 so far, and it's fantastic.
Yes,
and this is just this level. This is just this level, but this is how simple it can be if you're doing it no matter what. If you're receiving the right coaching, if you're not buying into the mediocre, client reading stuff, and actually allow yourself to receive what you truly deserve. It's literally as simple. All right. So how would you say your confidence in your delivery has changed now?
Oh, massively. I mean, that's the strange thing, and this is the thing that I've always loved about you, and your integrity. You have always cared about how I'm delivering to my clients as well. So it's not just about the sale, because so many people can say, oh, it's great, I've made so much money, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's brilliant. But what are you actually delivering for your clients at that level? Are you going to just take the money and run, or are you actually going to do work for the money? And you've always cared about my delivery. And so it's great to be able to talk to you about things around that as well, and getting ideas. But now my ideas are like, you know, I'm like, yeah, we're going straight to the top with my clients. We're talking celebrities, we're talking governments, we're talking, you know, top level. And yeah, and that's possible now. And those things are already happening with some of my clients. It's amazing that, you know, things are starting to happen. So whereas previously, you know, I was quite happy to kind of do what everyone else was doing at that sort of level and whatever, but no, I'm not. No, we're going straight to the top. Like, my clients are going to be celebrities. Like, seriously, my clients are going to be celebrities in their own right by the time I've finished with them. That's what I'm doing. And obviously at that level, then you don't feel, of course you feel confident about charging a rate because, you know, I think I put on my post the other day, one of the top PR people in the UK who's now passed away, he was charging 20k a month, retainers for his clients. But for that, you were going to have a lunch with a top celebrity. So you don't mind paying that, because when you have lunch with a top celebrity, then, you know, it's small fries, isn't it? 20k a month, you know. So yeah, it's the
I
same sort
love
of.
it. I love it. But that's just how a leap is done. You literally leap in mindset and emotions and possibilities of what is possible for you. Because can you, to the people which were at your level and they don't really know how to make $50,000, what do you want to tell them? Because you didn't know how to make 52k in a week. Right? You were like messaging me, oh my god, is it even possible? Rah. So can you tell them, what would you tell them?
You have to be prepared to get uncomfortable, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned. You have to be prepared to do what is uncomfortable, and get out of your own way, because it's not pretty. I'm not even going to pretend that I haven't cried lots, got stressed out, worried about where the money's coming from to pay for my mentoring, like all of that. I'm not even going to pretend that that didn't happen. It did happen. But when you decide that you are going to succeed no matter what, then you will make, and the universe will conspire to make to have a way of making that happen. But you have to be willing to keep going and not stop. And that's the thing. And I actually got to a point, and I think at one point I was, you know, not crying, but I was like sending a message, and I was like, oh my god, I feel like I'm going crazy here, you know, because this is all so frustrating. I feel like something big is about to happen, but it's not happening yet. Like, are you sure this is going to work? And you were like, if you feel like you're going crazy, then that means you're about to have a massive breakthrough. And it was true. It was very, very true.
Yeah.
So yeah, so all of you lot out there, don't question yourself. You know, making decisions very quickly is part of being a successful entrepreneur, and or it's successful in life, full stop. Integrity is massive too. And like I said, all of these things and boundaries, these things are the key things that I've learned from working with Charlotte. So, you know, if those are things, areas that you feel like you have problems in, I would definitely recommend working with Charlotte. And I'm not just doing this as a pitch. You know, she hasn't told me to say this. I'm just saying it because LA for me was like literally a transformational experience. And the testimony to that was the fact that since I've come back, I have barely marketed, like literally barely marketed on Facebook, on social media or anything. But yeah, I still had leads upon leads, more leads than I've probably have in a month coming through in the first week after LA, contacting me, wanting to work with me. Like, I've never had that. That's mad. And, you know, energetically speaking, that obviously something had shifted in my energy. Otherwise that wouldn't have happened. So, you know, yeah, that's it really.
Ah, it's so beautiful. And like the last thing comes together. What do you want to say to anybody that thinks about going to Miami and meeting you?
Yeah.
And meeting you, basically the same thing.
Oh, you have to come. If you're thinking about it, stop thinking about it. Just come. Just do what I did and just be like, I don't know how I'm getting there, but just come anyway. You know, yeah, it's just awesome. And besides, Miami's a beautiful place anyway, so if nothing else. But of course, the 2 days is going to be, yeah, of course. But the 2 days is definitely more than worth it. The women that you're going to be surrounded by, Charlotte, like, yeah, honestly, for the age you are, Charlotte, like, you are just dynamite. It's ridiculous, ridiculous. You know this anyway. This is what I love about her as well. She just accepts her genius. It's just amazing. And then once you step into that, you learn to accept your own genius, and then other people recognize you for the genius that you are. So it's awesome. Oh,
And
and
who knows?
Phyllis too. Phyllis was there. Phyllis, are you coming again? It's amazing.
Yeah, she is.
Good.
All right. Thank you so much, Brenda. This is
Thank you.
amazing. Thank you.
Yes, it is.
Okay, I can't wait to, I don't know, speak to you on Thursday, I think.
Yes, yes.
We'll speak to you soon, and thanks everybody that's here. If you want to sign up, there's a link somewhere here. You have to pay 7,500 upfront on the call, but that's like nothing to compare what you will get. Because you two can make, you can make 52, you can make 100,000 in a week if you want. Okay, everybody, thank you so much, Brenda. I'm gonna, you know, end this thing now, and we'll talk. Or does anybody have any question? Like, I don't understand how this works. Okay, maybe not. If anybody got any questions, they can just ask you or ask me later. Okay.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.